Black back in the building.
What's that week
been good, man. I can't complain. Thank you for asking. How's everything going with the rest of you guys?
Going good, man. A lot better than it was 6 weeks ago. Had a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. Not bad stuff, but just, a lot of work stuff. All adults have to work. Well, most of them, so, work sucks. But,
well, I mean, that's the attitude you have. Yeah, it's going to suck.
No, work sucks. Work sucks. Like, there's work in itself means to do what somebody else wants you to do.
What about working for yourself? Like, what?
If you let me finish, that's usually when people get enjoyment out of what they like doing. It isn't necessarily considered work, but when as far as work, other people usually create it for you, and then you have to do what other people want you to do, and not what you want to do.
So, that's an interesting take. I don't know. I'm of the mindset it's still work, even if you enjoy what you do. I understand the positivity reinforcement and perspective, but I mean, there was a period where I could openly admit I enjoyed actually physically getting up and doing work, like still with landscaping. That's very much always going to be work, but I enjoy doing it. Yard work, I'm always down for that. That's just something I like to do. But that's neither here nor there. Welcome back to the Prism Black Podcast. This is episode number 8.
Episode 8.
Yeah, we took 2 weeks off if y'all didn't notice.
Hopefully y'all noticed. Y'all better had noticed.
A few people asked me what was up. They was looking for some episodes.
Yeah. We just had a lot of stuff going on. Work stuff. Getting stuff situated,
It's none of y'all's damn business what I had going on.
Hey, that's the truth, though.
I'm just kidding.
We just had some stuff going on.
I mean, it's the truth, but it's contradictory when we get on here and give parts of ourselves every week anyway.
Hold on, I'm gonna turn y'all up. Keep talking up.
I prefer not to be a hypocrite where I can help it.
Bet. All right, so
some good juice, man.
Did y'all see? I'm sure you saw it.
What's new?
Yeah,
everybody. I mean, we took 2 weeks off. There's a lot of new shit to talk about. Pardon my French. Vaughn, please edit out the person. I'm trying to watch that. A lot of new stuff. A lot of new things. All the things.
Yeah. I don't think we got a chance to talk about. I have to go back and watch.
New trailers. I mean, there was we got the
Spider-Man.
Yeah. So the timeline. Well, I mean, Marvel went crazy with some trailers. We've gotten a teaser trailer for the Matrix 4, or the teaser to the teaser trailer for the Matrix 4. But Marvel went kind of crazy, which I appreciate. I'll let y'all kind of go into the trailers they did release. I just think it's funny that I think in episode 6 we mentioned that Feige had hinted the Spider-Man trailer was coming, and then by episode 7 it was out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had an Eternals trailer, Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. I paid attention to the horror trailer. We mentioned the Star Wars trailer previously, but I mean, happy to rehash that, kind of pick back up where we left off. Last Night in Soho trailer.
Yeah.
Those who saw Candyman, that's a up and coming horror flick. Prism Black, we are fans of horror, and that caught my attention. It did catch my attention. What else is new out there, y'all?
They named the 10 best animes of the century.
Japan gave their top 10 list of the decade.
Of the decade, yeah, and it was based off popularity. I mean, popularity doesn't necessarily mean good, but
I think that's exactly what it means. If it's popular.
Bro, everything that's popular is not good.
Perspective, subjectively. But if I do agree there's a fine line of good and bad, and yeah, some stuff that just because it's liked by the masses doesn't necessarily mean it's, I would say it's good. But yeah. Carl, you kind of Silent over there. What's new in your world?
Not too much is new with me, man. I'm trying as far as like with me personally, uh, nothing that I can think of that comes right back up to like my mind or whatnot. I think you guys did a great job covering on things that have been coming up new and our topic of genres and all those things. So
Did
yeah,
you want
man.
to talk about any of the trailers, breakdowns, anything interesting you may have pointed out or thought or noticed?
Um, I think
I mean, Spider Man gave us a lot.
Yeah,
I,
Spider Man's
I got to
good.
be 100. I didn't expect as much as we got from Spider Man.
yeah. No, I agree. I think I think that they're for foreshadowing Sinister Six, Spider Man versus the Sinister Six, and I'm I don't know if it'll happen. Maybe you might get other Spider Mans if villains are popping up out of out of um out of the portals that you saw like in the trailer from Doctor Strange and all these other things.
Hmm.
You know what I think?
What's on your mind, Banks?
I think Peter Parker's gonna die, and then we're gonna get Miles Morales coming from another universe. That's what I think.
I submit this. Peter Parker is already dead.
What?
Yeah. For those of you who have seen Into the Spider Verse, here's a little free candy. There is actually a scene recorded with Tom Holland's Spider Man, and Tom Holland did do the voiceover allegedly. Um, but I don't think this was actually part of the rumor mill. I think this is fact. Just there was some disputes at the time between Sony property, Marvel, all that. So what was meant to be a introduction and tie-in into the MCU, we ended up instead getting just reference points to the original trilogy and Into the Spider-Verse 1. But there is apparently a scene cut and edited and shot, recorded with Tom Holland Spider-Man, that connects those dots. So um, but yeah, I definitely think we'll see Miles Morales popping up in the MCU one way or another. We're confirmed getting Riri and Black Panther 2. Um, the build up with Monica Red, like I just think Marvel's taking a very sharp pivot for the better. I'm not mad at it. I'm
No,
interested
I
to
got a
see.
question about that though. So with this new Spider-Man movie, Into the Spider-Verse, and it's supposed to have Tobey Maguire, all the Peter Parkers from all the different renditions of Spider-Man up
But we
until
don't know
now.
that with Into the Spider Verse 2. We know there are multiple Spider-Mans, more Spider-Mans, but with No Way Home, we've just seen Otto Octavius, Spider Man, Sam Raimi universe, Spider Man's Otto Octavius, and is that Hobgoblin or Green Goblin? We think.
It's Hobgoblin. If it's orange, it's Hobgoblin.
I think
Green
it was
Goblin.
orange with green.
Yeah, it's Hobgoblin.
So is this going to be a new Hobgoblin or Amazing Spider Man Hobgoblin?
Well,
Harry,
this is my thing. I was getting to that. So like, cause Tobey Maguire is in this movie, right? Cause he's on the
is he?
cover. I think so. I think they're mosh podging the Spider-Man into one universe because of the multiverse and Peter Parker not shutting up when Doctor Strange was trying to do his magic. But like the cover art that I saw was Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, and then um, dang, what's the dude from Amazing Spider-Man's name?
Andrew
Drawing blank.
Garfield. But was
Andrew
that
Gar.
is that fan or confirmed Marvel art?
I
Because
don't.
I've seen a
I
lot of
don't.
fan stuff. I
Okay.
haven't seen anything official from Marvel
Okay.
that
Well,
has the three of them together.
just my question was like, Peter Parker's not Spider-Man in every universe, so it's like it's in each universe it's a different Spider-Man. So like, three Peter Parkers being Spider-Man wouldn't. I don't. Would that actually be a thing?
It
Since,
could.
since in every universe it's a different Spider-Man. It's a different person.
It could very well be. However, Andrew Garfield released a statement earlier this week saying for the last time that he's not a part of this movie. He has nothing to do with it, proclaiming that, either way he's screwed, whether he owns up to it or did not continues to deny it. But we've seen that same song and dance before with Marvel appearances, right? between actors, actresses. They'll fake us out to the last minute because Hugh Jackman, same second verse, same as the first last week, made another statement. Hey, I have nothing to do with Marvel, no plans to come back, but rumors suggest that we are getting an X-Men introduction in one of the next movies. And I saw Shang-Chi. If y'all haven't seen that, please do. It was really good. But Shang-Chi, definitely, I was looking for an X-Men cameo, any
That's
type
how you
of.
say that?
Yeah, Shang-Chi. Yeah.
Dang, I've been saying it wrong the whole time.
Yeah, I was saying Shang-Chi. I was mucking it up real bad.
Yeah, me too.
Wait.
I was messing it up as well.
So my whole Marvel, look, y'all did this with Namor, now y'all doing it with Shang-Chi, Song-Chi. Is it just the accent, or is it?
It's like saying Sean.
Yeah, so like it's Shang Tsung. We call them Shang Tsung, but it's like Shang Tsung.
Well, I'm saying
either or.
If you're speaking with like a, the Asian dialect, but like, is it when the people say it in all the shows and stuff like that? What do they say?
So in the movie, he's been saying Shang-Chi. Everybody in the movie said Shang-Chi.
Okay. But damn, I've been wrong my whole life.
Yeah, most of the shows we've been watching probably Americanized that, and we just accepted it because it'd be the same instance. We know it's T'Challa, but if they T'Challa, and people just ran with that. No, it's T'Challa. I put some respect on that. So
been saying it wrong my whole life.
Yeah, so apologies for that. That movie was so damn good. I went and picked up the Voices issue #1 is out, and there is a Shang-Chi AAPI special edition cover. They did one for Psylocke, Jubilee, Armor, who's a new X-Men.
Whoa. They did one for who?
Yes, Psylocke's. Look up the AAPI Psylocke cover for X-Men, I think, #1. The new X-Men, Stormbreakers and whatnot, that team, but dog, it is beautiful art. Like each cover, I love comic book covers. That's kind of one of my things. Mr. Glass over here, but it is a dope concept, just dope picture. And I think Lee Hyuk did most of these. So please don't come for me and kill me. Comic World, don't hold me to that. Double check, or I will fact check myself. Next stop, because it's new comic book day at Rick, so I'll be in this week to confirm all of that. But any other takes on Spider-Man?
I can't wait. I want to, like I said, almost every time we talk about Marvel, I'm really excited about just seeing it unfold. Just because I knew, because like the first time I was like, cool Marvel movies, and then watching it unfold, it's like, that was really good. So just ready to see how it unfolds, like what storylines they're gonna go down, like how they gonna connect the dots to those storylines. Hopefully it's good. This phase is just as good as the Infinity War Endgame phase. So
if between Black Widow and Shang-Chi, if those two films are any indication, I don't think Marvel's lost a step. And the Eternals trailer,
not losing a step. But my thing about going to see Shang-Chi, it was, how does this tie into XYZ? And I think they're going to try to turn.
They will answer that.
Yeah, so it's like, I think they're going to do that by the rings are going to somehow be related to the Eternals. And then
God, I can't. No spoilers. I'll wait for y'all to see it because I did go and see it.
I saw it.
I haven't seen it yet, but then
Monday before I had my interview prep, I saw it about like 5 o'clock Monday after I dropped my back off. So.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so I mean, Banks, I'll let you see it, Banks, and then we can save that for next week, and we can really do, because I don't mind seeing that again to do some more second glances, because I know it was riddled with Easter eggs, but I was kind of fascinated with just the rollout. It was a well done film, well executed. But speaking of which, the Eternals, I want to preface same sentiment with the first saga, and this is still new stuff, y'all, and we'll button this up real quick because we actually had a few key topics to talk about, but. The Eternals trailer, we're moving into uncharted territory in my Marvel knowledge because I didn't read any Eternals comics. Like I
like super
caught
old.
references. Yeah, they're super old. I caught references of them here and there. I've seen some of them reintroduced to some modern storylines, but in terms of knowing the Eternals as well as I know the Avengers, that I do not. I just know subtle hints of little nuances of where they're dropping the story, where I think it's going. But the two biggest characters I can speak of, what are we getting? Is that Centurion or Hyperion? One of the Eternals?
Centurion.
I know we're getting Black Knight for sure, but one of them, he's like a Marvel Superman. And I mix him and it's either Centurion or Hyperion.
With the yellow thing on his chest with the bolts. And,
is that Icarus?
They keep showing him doing the eyes, the laser eyes, like very Superman-esque.
Yeah, the guy who's played by the Game of Thrones character from
Rob Kit Harington is playing Black Knight. Oh yeah, that is. They both are from Game of Thrones. You're right, Carl. You're right. My bad. He played the
Rob Stark.
Yeah, Rob Stark. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, man.
So who is he supposed to be? Oh, Sentry.
Sentry. Yes.
After previously considering Centurion, I knew Centurion had something to do with it, but yeah, okay, Sentry.
Yeah, he's Marvel's
New Avengers. Yeah, he's okay. So we've got Sentry and we've got Black Knight for sure. I'm not sure who Jolie or Salma Hayek are supposed to be. Like, notice Hollywood had a lot to say during the Infinity Saga, and now it seems like all the A-list actors are jumping into Marvel movies.
Yeah, they hated Marvel. Not Marvel. They hated superhero movies. They thought they were cheesy and corny and all this stuff. Now look at you.
Then Robert Downey Jr. came bike and got $200 million for what was the ridiculous rumor we heard for Infinity? His agent at that $1.2 billion budget, $200 million that was Robert Downey Jr.'s cut for being Iron Man or some shit.
Well deserved.
I mean, I'm not complaining that like he's Tony Stark in my book, but yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they all figured out like to hell with that garbage. I want to be I'm down with Marvel.
Yeah, I'm down with Marvel. I love
Marvel
comics.
Games.
No, you don't.
Carl pointed out, I thought that the obviously I was pumped for Galactus because I've been hyped to see Galactus return ever since Fantastic Four pretty much made him a cloud of dust. And I was pumped thinking that the Eternals gave us a quick flash of him, but Carl quickly corrected me that might be just a Celestial. So
yeah.
What do we know about the Celestials? Other than the characters that we do know are Celestials.
Well, I know that... Go ahead, Carl.
I was going to say, I don't know too much about them. I know they're not as strong as Galactus. And they play an important role in the Eternals, like coming to existence. But I don't know too much about them. Banks,
they're just a bunch of rule makers, universal rule makers of the universe. So like, they come and they go.
Depends on which Celestials we talking about, because just a quick Google, Ego is one Celestial. We've already seen him in Guardians. And Adam Warlock is still out there too, because Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to tie a lot of this together. I think between Guardians, BP 2, and Thor, Love and Thunder, we're going to get a lot of Doc Strange too, because the multiverses. I like how they're piecing this together. I can already kind of see the breadcrumbs. But we've got Ego, then we've got One Above All, who obviously is too powerful for the MCU, so no way they can use that character. So. But then you've got Exitar, Godhead. It depends on which Celestials we're going to get introduced. What's up, Carl?
Oh yeah, not to cut you off, but I was saying something I thought that was new was I saw the preview for the trailer of the next episode for What If, and they had the zombies.
Yeah, are we caught up on What If? Because I'm fine doing a summary and talking about each of those episodes when they finish, but What If so far has been it's 4-0. I've watched every single episode, and from T'Challa being Star-Lord, the Hank Pym episode was super dope to me, and even the Doc Strange episode, like What If they're killing it. They're really killing it.
I think we can do a summary one just so we can talk about it in totality. That way, because talking about it week to week, what if something at the end ties it all together, and so I think we're better off doing the summary. So
yeah, I think
just a chance to re-binge right through it once we watch every episode.
Yeah, I think you might have already said this, Will, but based on like how they've gone with this, they could keep this going for years if they wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think from not only a fan pleasing perspective, but from a marketing and a dollar sign perspective, once they open the door to the multiverse and they've gone through the legal steps to get all these licensing and characters back. I mean, it's an infinite bag of stories and rebranding, rebooting. That's never going to get old, done right. And that was something I really appreciated about Shang-Chi, seeing that the special effects. It looked really good. Like, it visually looked good. And when I look at Shang-Chi and think about movies from just 5 or 6 years ago, it looks so much better than those. It's like, yo, that's what that Disney CGI comes with, and they're only going to get better. So, they're going to keep dumping the investment into these movies and pumping out these stories, bringing them to life. Damn right, they're going to keep getting my money.
Yeah. Well, this is completely random, but I think hold on, I gotta make sure I say it right. Shang-Chi, I'm putting it in my top 5 non-Avengers movies for Marvel so far.
That's interesting. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I gotta give it a little bit of time because I already know that the sequel is going to be so much better. But I'm not mad at Shang-Chi as a top 5 non. I got to rethink my non-Avengers top 5s because right now I just kind of had them all spread out. I can see that. Here's something interesting. My mom swore that Shang-Chi was one of the best movies she's ever seen. And she really went for the artistry and how they represented and shot certain scenes, and seeing, I will spoil this, seeing Michelle Yeoh get her flowers. I aired on the side of, I don't know, greatest all time, but I would walk back my statement of putting in the top 10 because I just happened to be spoiled off of a lot of movies that came up with not as big a budget, but still managed to be equally entertaining, like a lot of early Jet Li films. Some of those early, like, I don't know if people's ever even seen some of those classic, what we would call karate movies but there's a list I could go in terms of Michelle Yeoh, specifically Jet Li, early Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, all of that. And just some of those movies were highly entertaining and dope fighting scenes, like dope stories, and didn't have a third of the budget that Marvel had and still managed, still hold up to this day. But yeah, I'm going to have to give Shang-Chi another watch. I can see that though, Carl. That's a hard take.
Speaking of multiverses and universes, if y'all had to pick 3 universes you could be plopped into, and this don't have to be just Marvel, which universe would y'all be in?
Question, because I still need to think about this because I'm doing this one off the fly. Can I choose who I get to be in said universe?
You get to be yourself. And then, if you get powers, you get powers.
No, I mean, do I get to choose my skill set? Like, if I plot myself in Resident Evil universe, do I get to, am I some rando that's just at risk for getting? Do I get to be a police officer equipped? I get to, pick my skill set.
Yeah, I'm not gonna plop you into Power Rangers and say, oh, you went to high school with Tommy.
Yeah.
No, you get to be.
You just happen to be there when the monster dropped in and tried to take over. You a casualty. So we get to choose our skill set there.
You get to choose your skill set. Yeah, you're not gonna be, background dancer number 49.
Carl, I'll let you take the first shot.
So for me, I would have to choose the Dragon Ball universe just because, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying it's true, but in my opinion, you can build yourself up. Not necessarily into a powerhouse, but a very credible fighter just by working hard and understand basically just your understanding of ki. If you look at the Earthlings on Earth, yeah, most of them they're not going to compete with the Saiyans or the upper Namekians like Piccolo and Kami or whatnot. But you can still have abilities. I mean, you look at somebody. You look at somebody like Krillin, even though it was plot armor in the tournament of power, but he was still of some value. Him and Tien, and when you look at where they started off at, that was just work ethic.
Yeah, they're easily like the strongest humans, aren't they? Like all things considered, because we only ever see them compared to like fighters from other that like they are heavily outclassed and outmatched. But when it comes to Earth fighting standards, who really is touching them outside of the clique they roll with?
Yeah, nobody. Like on Earth, probably nobody.
Yeah,
Because even Master Roshi be giving people the business, and he like 90. So
yeah. Hmm.
True. Very true.
I think to start off, and this is just a cheat code. I'm gonna roll with Star Wars just because I've thought that fantasy out like 80 million times, bro. Like Sith Lord, roaming the galaxy with my Sith bros. You know what I mean? We post up on Coruscant, do some shit. We might bounty hunter for hire. We might, go save a planet, liberate some people. Might set up shop on Terran, chill. Depending on what time frame we in. Like, I mean, Star Wars is, what's not to like about it, bro? It's
yeah, you
Ewoks.
pretty much do whatever you want to do.
Do whatever I want, bro, as a Sith Lord in the Star Wars universe, man. But I really just recruit more Sith. So that's probably what I get into. Find some Jedi to jump, squad up on occasionally. Chill with some Wookiees.
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't
Here
surprise
you
me.
go. Here you go.
I mean, what else is there really to do, bro?
He about to say some Jedi stuff.
Like, what is there really to do? What, meditate with Yoda? No, I'm cool.
Kidnap some children, make them work under you.
Yo, every Jedi master got slaved by their former pupils, bro. Like, that's some wildness, man.
I think that's a strong term.
I mean, they did though. Well, except Qui-Gon, he just got rinsed. Obi-Wan got washed by Vader years later. Vader, you know what I'm saying?
I look at what the Jedi is doing. It's kind of what the Magic universe did with Wizards and Wizards and Harry Potter. They took them in so that their power wouldn't hurt them, and they didn't develop obscurus and like hurt the population.
Sound like some Jedi stuff that don't make sense. If you
Wasn't the Jedi kind of like a cult themselves, though?
if you
Yeah,
don't,
they're a cult.
if you don't
They are.
trust them to not hurt people, why train them? If you're like,
Say what? Hold on. What'd you say, Banks? I'm
if
sorry.
you don't trust the person to not hurt people, then why train them?
No. I'm saying like I think what I look at them as viewing as taking them in to teach them to harness their powers and do trust them. Like in Harry Potter, well, like the analogy I'm using, like the reason for taking in witches is basically so they don't go off on their own and their power doesn't come unchecked, so they don't end up hurting people and they learn how to control it. I'm saying the Jedi, they kind of do the same thing.
And the Jedi also pick and choose when to interfere, when to get involved. And that's one thing when you have that type of power, you can't necessarily pick and choose. Like if you can't be there for everybody, why try to be there at all? Because I think that's kind of what led to some of the corruption and some of the senior Jedi that we know that flipped to Sith at some point. But I'm gonna pause that conversation right there because I don't want the Star Wars nerds to come for me if I'm incorrect on something.
So, I think my first one that I would pick out of all the universes, I think I would pick One Piece, cause like you get to be a pirate, like you get to be a. No, I take that back.
Why One Piece over Pirates of the Caribbean?
I just say I'll take that back. I'm picking Pirates of the Caribbean.
I was like, Pirates of the Caribbean seems like a way better pirate invention than One Piece.
Cause like I mess with being a pirate on One Piece, but you gotta eat that fruit, and I ain't really.
And it seems like so, bro. Is it just me? Like you don't really know what the fruit is, what it does. You just like each one is a different fruit, right?
Yeah, it could give
and
you, like
you don't know the power you get till you eat it.
Yeah, you can have like a arm grow out your forehead, and that be your power. And I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Wait
So
a minute.
I'm picking Pirates of the Caribbean, and I'm gonna be out here like Jack Sparrow, bro. I'm doing whatever the hell I want to do.
But you know that comes with tuberculosis, so you're likely dead before 30. And if not
Hey,
that,
I'm here for a good time, not a long time, all right?
and if not that, the sea creatures and sea monsters in Jack Sparrow's universe are actually real. Like
Yeah,
Davy Jones exists.
yeah, but you gotta actually do something to make Davy
Krakens.
Jones run up
Nah,
on you.
Krakens just come.
Yeah,
I think the
I ain't
Krakens
talking
just
the Kraken, yeah.
yeah, the
But
Kraken just comes.
David
Hold up.
Jones came for a reason, so
Oh well, and you got to deal with the English or the British tracking you down every
shoot
spot
him,
that you go outside of
shoot him.
Tortuga.
Yeah, bro. That's a
Nah,
so you talk about living on the run in the
yeah, bro.
water.
I'm straight. Look, I'm an outlaw of the high seas, bro. Man, put me in there.
You need that machine gun you got over there
A Gatling gun or something, bro.
that you press when I get out of line on you.
Nah, Pirates of the Caribbean. I thought about that one. Okay, I'm gonna save my last one because I got one that I think is really dope. But no, Carl, your turn. You can pop
Yeah,
up next. 'Cause I have an
no,
anime one.
yeah. I was gonna give all three, but hey, I can't show all my cards early on. I want to see what y'all gotta say. That way, we're not talking about the same thing.
Um, as far I know, I picked I picked Dragon Ball Z firstly because I said work ethic, and this may be like a bit of a cheat code, but I feel like most universe versus outside of like when Banks said like pirates, obviously that's different, but I feel as though most universes are the same. Most of the people with powers, they're either born with them, get them like by a freak accident,
Mhm.
or some type of experimentation. Usually it's not
Or money.
um what'd you say? Thanks.
I said or money, like Bruce Wayne.
Or money. Yeah, or money. So I feel like a lot of them are the same. So I would if I had to pick another one that's different to me per se would be the Death Note. And it's not so much because I want to just kill a bunch of people, but I think and this sounds very arrogant, but I'd like to have it just to keep it out of other people's hands because um, I think in most people's hands, I mean, the masses are gonna die.
But don't
So
if
can I
you
ask you a
but don't
question,
if
Carl?
you hold on. Don't if you don't write. So are you gonna like not write anything in there? Because like you die after like a certain amount of time.
By having it,
Yeah, if you write somebody's name in there, you have a certain amount of time to write.
Yeah,
You have a certain amount of time to write another name in there, or he'll just kill you.
yeah.
okay,
You can't just possess it. I don't think either.
Yeah.
Like, it has
okay,
to
But
be.
like that's the catch 22. So that's why a lot of people when they get it, they just be going off and murdering people because they only have a certain amount of time to pick somebody because they're gonna die themselves if they don't do it. So, but that's
Well,
what I
my
play. That's why
question.
that's the only reason I would not pick Death Note. 'Cause
Well,
I
my
get that
question to
book.
that, to Carl's point though, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that essentially you would be giving yourself the keys to the empire, the power of literal life over death. Like you have that choice. What makes you qualified?
I don't qualify for it, so I do not qualify for it. But I think because I'm willing to admit that I don't qualify, that makes me more qualified than a lot of other people.
Carl just trying to do good for the world. All right.
Yeah, but it's a self-proclaimed nobility. Like it's an interesting perspective. I just want to. I mean, I'm only asking this question just for the sake of conversation. So you decided just unequivocally that you are impervious to wrongdoing and that
Uh,
we should trust you with this book.
no, I'm not impervious to wrong. I'm very much so not impervious to wrong. But what I would do if I would have the Death Note, I would get um my most trustworthiest people together and and let them know, create a system of checks and balances.
Hmm.
Um,
So
Like
y'all
a
and
become the ruling elite.
so like a Death Note council.
Yeah, y'all become the ruling. No, and I'm not jabbed. I mean, I hope you don't take this as malicious, but just for the sake of conversation, because it's interesting how we paint ourselves. Not saying that I'm not trying to tear you down in any aspect, but quickly you just established a council that can unequivocally rule and challenge. Y'all, you literally have the power of life and death
You're
in
assisting
your
on
hands.
Carl.
Like you're becoming a Sith Lord, Carl.
You're a Sith, Carl.
Like you just established the Sith temple, basically.
America, do you hear this, America? America,
Sith,
do
bro.
y'all hear this?
Go ahead.
No, but I
face-
do.
go ahead,
I've
face your
toyed
face,
with
Red.
that idea because how would you regulate yourself? Like there'd have to be some sort of. Ever since I think I saw World War Z, they talked about the Council of 13, where there's a rule of 12, and then that 13th or that extra odd vote, if there's one that goes against the grain, and that's when they take a second look like that. It's interesting to hear how you would kind of self-regulate or prohibit yourself from just going crazy. That's real Bruce Wayne of you.
So,
What if they killed you for the book?
what'd you say?
What if they Julius Caesared you?
Yeah, what if they killed you, et tu brute you for the book, man?
Yeah.
So
Dang.
that's a possibility, but in a sense, I would rather like I would rather be killed. I would rather be killed than succumb to, I guess, killing off the masses just because like I got paranoid.
Carl gonna have a book for a week. They getting Carl out of here.
Well, let me ask you, what issue do you have with turning the power for good? To quote, I'm not sure who said it about in regard to World War. Whenever we teamed up with Stalin to beat Hitler, World War II. Sometimes to beat evil, you need a bigger evil. That's a quote somewhere. I heard movie somebody said it, but what if you found yourself much like Buddy from Death Note, just being that silent anonymous hero and taking out the people who actually needed to be taken out? True enough, you are deeming yourself judge, jury, and executioner, which in and of itself is kind of a conundrum. But however, if we could literally visualize, it is for the greater good, you're bypassing, you're doing the Batman, right? He's not limited by jurisdiction. So he can go and get those people that need to be got. Do you have a qualm with that, making that? Because that's also a tough call to make, to put on yourself. And you've admitted that you aren't qualified, but I mean, that I imagine that would somewhat come with it if you are taking this burden upon yourself.
That's a tough situation to be in, but the way I look at it is by forming a council, it's no different from any society at any time. Most of the time, in a country or most of the part of the world, the few control the masses anyway. So that's essentially, that's not new. Right. So what I would do, like, because you bring up a very good point, because but in reality, I don't want to do this, but what I would want to do is have a council to where, okay, so the Death Note is a last option. We all know what it is, and the only way we can access it is if we all agree to use it, and it has to be one of these like nuclear crisis that's going to wipe off either a continent, the way we trade money,
right? Extinction level events,
yeah, like extinction level events. Okay. And to do that, like I made the choice. I've got my family X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna write the names in there, and after it's over, you know what? I'm dead. And then you guys elect a new member, and it just keeps going.
Man, that really, that's not a bad idea, but you know what that really makes me think of? And this has been a recurring thing for the past 4 or 5 months, I want to say. Ever since January 6th, actually. Animal Farm. I keep seeing Animal Farm and everything. Remember we had to read that in, what was it, 5th, 6th grade?
I do.
Because that was one book, I dare say that book impacted my life, because I remember how the pigs kept moving. Every time they got a little bit further as a unit, the pigs had to tighten the grip of power, and they kept moving the goalposts as long as it was for them, for their benefit. And at the end, of course, we saw they became men, but it's like, at what point, you said that y'all would, have rules and agree to only use at these junctures, right? But at what point do people start bending the rules and, well, we really should use it for this, and that collective, democracy rules? Well, if you help me get everybody to vote for me to use it for this. I'll help you get everybody to vote for your. And now we have people fighting over absolute power. It's the same theme I think that's going to be explored with Kang the Conqueror and Loki. Like this, but I mean, just throwing it out there, something to,
No, you're absolutely right because it's not 100% plan that would work. And like if you're being realistic, somewhere along the line, because you would think either seats get taken over by kids or a new council comes in that the next generation they're gonna find a way to mess it up. Like someone's gonna bribe a certain amount, get them to do X, Y, Z, promise them this or whatever, and eventually the power would get out, and you'll see like a lot of mass deaths until another responsible person or persons like get it and create a different structure around the death note, or somebody basically does a kamikaze, finds a way to get rid of the book and take the angel back to where it is. But the point is basically you want to prevent the masses from dying as much as possible, and there's no guarantee that it'll work long. Like keep working. I mean, you have to honestly expect that at some point that containment will break because people. I mean, just the selfish nature of humanity in its sense will find a way. So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, we can. That's Carl's take on Death Note universe. My next universe. I'm gonna jump right into this. I was gonna save this for last. Rick and Morty.
Are you gonna be like a counter to Rick and Morty, or
I would be another. I would have the same skill set as Rick, just another fellow scientist, brilliant mind who cracked the code, figured out interdimensional travel, all that. Maybe not as wanted, but I have a poster of the universe as we know it, known universe, observable, hanging up on the wall, and many nights I stare at that and think about my place in it. And something deeply fascinates me about this character who can literally has seen 1,000 lives, 1,000 different realities or more, travel from planet to planet, and has ultimately, his ultimate conclusion is very pessimistic, a nihilistic view of the entire universe. But I would like to think that I would approach that a little bit different. And a lot of that is fueled by his life choices, but having the same access to the same resources and the same power, I think it would be pretty dope to just be able to just kind of hop around the universe and just really explore and see what's out there and know what's going on and meet new civilizations, new people, and have a name that's that widely known and respected, I would think, right? But also it'd be dope to just get up and pull up in a spaceship. Yo, Vaughn, Carl, hop in. We're going on an adventure and fly off to
anywhere with you, Will.
Fly off into another universe and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Let's go rescue a planet, guys. You know what I mean? So I could rock with some Rick and Morty. Just being able to intergalactically travel and live life to the literal fullest. Super dope.
Yeah, Rick and Morty's a little too. I wouldn't plot myself in that one, just because. Morty. I mean, Morty. No, Rick is always setting Morty up for the L, bro. Like to the point where he turns evil. So it's like just being in that type of mental.
Oh yeah, I forgot that whole thing is bubbling. I forgot about the evil Morty that's out there. Damn.
So to be in that type of mental distress every day, I'm good on that one. But, yeah.
I mean, so minus that because that story's still being written, but I mean, Jerry takes more L's than anybody. So as long as you're not Jerry,
well, that's what I'm saying. Everybody around Rick takes L's because he just.
Well, his lifestyle choice. I did point that out. His lifestyle choices are like I like to imagine that if Rick just zigged instead of zagging, he could easily be experiencing a more positive like reality in all of these different universes. You know what I mean? But he in this most recent season, in season 4 there was this reveal that his daughter Beth may or may not be a clone, right? We don't know if she's the real Beth or not. then in this season, we find out that one of his daughters, either the original clone or the real Beth, actually died. And he had no clue which one was which. So he just jettisoned one to another dimension. And, he did something to bring one back. But it's just like, that's some heavy, dark, deep shit.
Because, and the thing about it, it's his fault.
Yeah, it is his fault. So
it's his fault. It's your fault that you don't know which daughter is yours, because if you seen reality, you wanted to venture out into reality so much that you created clones of everybody and pretty much split up the work
to create certain realities. Like, because I think he had seen so many realities, like he's seen them die in so many different ways. Yeah. Like he's seen how it could go a million ways over, and that's made him kind of disconnected from humanity as a whole.
Yeah,
like completely disconnected.
But it's his fault.
Because even to a point where, and he's a narcissist for this, but even to the point where if he fucks it up in a universe, him and Morty just jump to another one where they're already dead.
Yeah,
so we don't even know from what we're watching if this is Morty's original family, because we have seen them fuck up the universe that we thought them to be living in at least twice in previous seasons. They turned one into a chroma. What's the animals, the creatures? A Croninger. They turned one into a Croninger planet. Those mutated, you see them in everything. Mutated, think the thing.
The what?
The thing. Think like when it was mutating, like absorbing people.
Oh.
Like Croninger monsters or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Like they turned one universe into a whole universe of those. And then there was one where Morty transformed into something and was just expanding forever in that universe. And it was like, okay, they're going to die. So, like, they have literally just found alternate realities where they're already dead and stepped right in and assimilated. So it's just like, there's an extreme disconnect. And that's a deep level of psychosis, somebody who can continually fuck up realities.
Which is why I wouldn't go. Which is why I understand why.
I'm saying I'm someone who's going to have the equal skill set and just do the opposite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I die out in reality, in another reality somewhere, I'm gone. Like that's it.
This man might turn into Rick and Morty, Luther King Jr.
Yeah. If you got the opportunity to gain the intelligence of Rick, or to have skills comparable to Rick, then can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, just how long before I self-destruct? Because I have a mini God complex now, just knowing little shit, and I try my best to work on that. But I think if I knew what Rick knew, I probably would have zero tolerance. Would be an understatement.
Yeah, especially if you know everything about the universe, you're like, look, I don't care. This is not important.
Yeah, he frequently shits on people's happiness just because he literally knows that it doesn't matter. He'll tell people their God's not real. He had dude kill himself one time, convinced him that your God's probably not real, and it turns out his afterlife was real.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rick be into some shit, man. He's an extremely disconnected individual. But that's one I think would be dope to explore, Vaughn.
Well, since we're having a therapy session here because of Rick and Morty and Death Note, I'm gonna tone it down just a little bit.
Yeah, that did get dark. Huh? Damn, Carl, you set me up. Carl set us up.
Oh, look at you, Sith. But yeah, I'm gonna be real. I would be a Power Ranger universe, and I would be in the one. What is it like? I forgot what.
Yeah, which Power Ranger?
The one where they're like in the spaceship. I forgot the name of the
Neo, or Space Power Ranger Space.
I think it's Power Rangers Space, just because they had the coolest costumes. Except for Tom, I think Tommy had the coolest costumes of Power Rangers ever. But I think it's
Space PD.
Yeah, I think it's that one. Because I've only watched 2 renditions of Power Rangers. No, 3, 4. I watched 4. I think
they look like VR Troopers. Well, VR Troopers look like them, I guess, because Power Rangers were first. But SPD came way after VR Troopers, no?
I'm just trying to make sure I get the right one, because I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't know how to share. I mean, I can share a screen in the chat, but I don't want to. copyright purposes?
It's SPD.
Okay.
Yeah, good look. They got SPD. They got like bulletproof vest looking things. So like, pretty much this one, and just because, you know, the costumes and stuff, I would have picked the original one, but I don't want to have to kill Tommy to get the suit I want. So that's why I didn't pick the original.
Why does Tommy have to die for you to get the suit?
Because he ain't finna give up the white Zord, bro. You think Tommy's like, yo, sure, you can have it.
Thanks. Can't you just challenge him to a martial arts match?
And then
like,
bro,
but hold on, fam. If the white Zord is available, is he got that? That means the green Zord is like the Dragon Zord still kicks ass to me.
The green Zord went away when he became the white Zord.
Yeah, but that was a plot MacGuffin. You see what I'm saying? Like I think in the Power Rangers. Oh, by the way, I told y'all what's the name picked up the license for Power Rangers. They've aged them. Apparently, the current running comic book for Power Rangers is really dope. But yeah, let's look into that because I think that's just a plot MacGuffin. In my idea of the Power Rangers universe, the White Ranger and Green Ranger can why not? Because that's never explained why the Green Ranger just like it had a stone of its own the same.
I'm saying if it's not explained, I can't make it up. I'm gonna take the green one. Like bro, the green one gone, and I gotta kill Tommy to get the white one. So. And I gotta kill Zack.
If you find the green stone, could you then be the Green Ranger?
I thought it got didn't it? Wait. I thought it got destroyed because at one point Tommy wasn't a Power Ranger.
Yeah, it did get destroyed. But if in this universe you're putting yourself in here, you can just have that. Like you don't have. It doesn't have to remain destroyed.
Well, I'm saying if it's destroyed in the universe, I can't just like I'm gonna take it. If I'm plopped into the universe.
I thought you were picking our skill sets. Like if you want to be the green.
I mean, you can pick your skill set, but if your skill set isn't available, like to take, then you can't just like I'm gonna bring it back because it's gone in that universe. That's like me saying I'm gonna go to Ragnarok after it's destroyed. It's like, bro, Ragnarok's gone. Not Ragnarok, but
I guess the rules don't apply with the whole time travel aspect because I've
said the rules don't apply what?
With the whole time travel aspects and interdimensional, because I'm thinking like, why couldn't they just exist in the same? Like, why? I'm thinking like, if you putting yourself in the Power Rangers, and we know Power Rangers have multiverses, like we know that they did a big. You could easily just go be the White Ranger from another universe, or where Tommy's dead already, or a Green Ranger from another universe, like, and that exists in the Power Rangers continuity. They have multiverses and multiple Power Rangers, so you could easily Rick, Javon, and Morty your way into a White or Green Ranger if you wanted to.
No, I would have to Rick and then pull out a gun and just shoot him in the face. And
not if he's already dead. There's a universe in the Power Rangers somewhere out there where Rita won, bro.
Oh, for real?
Everybody got rinsed. There's got to be. Lord Zed came and made everybody on Earth kneel. He Loki'd it. There's got to be.
I don't know. I have to look into that.
I'm just saying.
I don't want to kill Tommy or Zack. So the two suits I want are occupied. So I just go to SPD. I don't really care if any of them die. So I just take.
Why don't you just make yourself like a cookies and cream ranger? Get a black and white suit like Two-Face.
What are you trying? Come on, cuz that's tacky, bro.
How you get Two-Face it like one side white, one side
with
black.
This speckled Power Ranger suit. Look like somebody sprayed me with dirt. No, I'm good, bro.
Yo, but I mean, if you show up and you kick the most ass, I mean, who gonna stop you, bro? Who gonna check you?
I gotta look cool while I'm stomping aliens out.
Bro, you could design a dope black and white, like, but obvious black and white.
Like, just make a gray ranger.
Ooh. Like a putty pie beefed up though.
No, that'd be the putty. There's a reason they made all the putty patrol gray because it was ugly. Gray is not a shimmery color to have on. It looks.
Oh, my guy wants to be a Power Ranger, Mighty Morphin. That would be dope to have the squad and be able to just morph from universe to universe. Like, if we're talking Power Rangers as powerful as we know they really could be, because they are literal intergalactic Rangers. Like, there's this new comic line explores the full extent of what they really can be. Like, they're Space Warriors, dog. That'd be dope.
Yep.
Like on some real spill.
Space Warriors, they also go to high school. And they make the black dude do backflips and dances.
I hated that trope. I mean, Zack was my guy, but man,
Zack was my guy, but they had him as the token.
Yeah, we'll have to dive into the '90s black tropes one day. Yeah, that exists through everything. Like,
Hold on. What was wrong with Zach's edge up?
bruh. What was wrong with?
They should have made Zach's Edge up a villain on the show. He just pops off his head one day and like, you have to fight Zach's Edge up. The most
Rita threw something at it and made him grow. Started destroying his.
What's
that attacking Andrew Grove? It's Zach's hairline.
And they get big, bro. Turn into a big monster with legs.
Hold on, Banks. Will, I saw that edge up and I was like, I didn't know Great Clips was around in the 90s.
Yeah, bro. That man had a Stephen A. Smith for no reason.
Pure struggle. I don't think TV started paying attention to edge ups until Steve Harvey show. That's like the last black TV dad, anything I remember being super sharp. Hanging with Mr. Cooper, maybe.
No, Fresh Prince, bro. Will's
oh yeah, Will was always crispy, but I'm talking about like the actual crispness. Like Steve Harvey's line became a subject of topic.
Because it wasn't real.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
We found out later it wasn't always real. It might have been real.
That man was bald.
I thought you said it was real. I was just like,
no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't real. It was fake. That's why it was so crispy all the time. But Martin had a crisp hairline. Like pretty much everybody on Martin that had hair had a crisp hairline. Nipsey.
Yeah, but I don't remember it ever being a topic of like it was just kind of the flow. Like it wasn't a question. I remember vividly we would have conversations about how straight and crisp, but yeah, I guess probably because it was fake. That makes sense.
I think what Will is saying is like most dads didn't have like, or most dads or people in that like in that dad age, they didn't have crisp hairlines. Because when you think about it, like Uncle Phil, Carl Winslow, Cosby.
I know, but Zach wasn't a dad though.
Who?
Zach from Power Rangers. He wasn't a dad. It was a 16.
No, yeah, he just had a piss poor hairline. But it's just leading up to that, I used to notice a lot of shows that featured black up and coming child, like unless you're talking the early 90s, like black ranch shows, when you're talking about the mainstream, like where obviously the one black character is the stereotype, the token. Like they had bros on TV looking any kind of way.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't an exclusively black show, bro, if it wasn't an exclusively black show, they was just on TV looking jacked. You know what I mean? Because you look at the contrast between a different world than how they had Zach. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's who else is there? Your boy from Secret World of Alice Mack. I don't recall his haircut ever just being super fresh. He stayed with a fade, like some sort of fade on the side, like real basic and simple. Or am I making that up?
I don't remember his hairline off of that.
I could be reaching. Oh well.
We can Google it and find out.
I mean, the tropes thing I definitely want to explore because, like, outside of black shows, like black programming in the early '90s gave you everything that was black. that was the overreact. Like, Living Single was the Living Single, Martin era, all that. Like, that was a different world. All those shows hit. Your mainstream shows that would feature a black character, quote unquote, it was always Jack. Yeah, let's look into that, Banks. let's do some homework on that one. That might be interesting to tag into. Carl, third universe.
I got a question after this, but if I had to say, I'm choosing a Gundam universe just because I've always wanted to be a Gundam pilot. I know I've included it on some of my lists, but Gundam Wing is my favorite Gundam show. So if I could pilot one of the 5 or even something similar, I'm for it.
I could definitely see myself in a Gundam.
Y'all do realize y'all are always gonna be at war, right?
Yeah. I'm all for it.
Because I thought about Gundam too, but when I think about every Gundam I've watched, it's like, damn, they are always fighting for their life. And the side that we usually cheer for, they don't win.
I mean, I cheer for.
I mean, it's an ongoing fight between the Federation and Earth. You know, it's a never-ending battle. What I'm getting at, but
yeah,
that's true. But if I'm in the fight, I'd rather be in the fight with that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a nostalgia thing. I admit it doesn't make the best sense to want to be in a world that's always at war, but it's just it's just one of those things, in my opinion. I think if you watch some Gundam show, and if you got the option to ride one, learn how to ride one, it's like, yeah, I want mine, and I want mine in these two colors. Like, that's
What colors?
I gotta go. I gotta go black and blue.
I was just about to pick Putty Patrol Gray since you're trying to turn me into a gray Power Ranger.
Nah, I'm rolling, Carl. I rocks with it. Gundam over a what am I thinking of? Pacific Rim Jaeger.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm not trying to fight no Jaegers. You know how many people that like in Pacific Rim? Them was the first people to go up against them that actually won. Everybody else was losing.
Well, I would say the reason I would choose Gundam over Jaeger is a Jaeger you have to have two pilots and you guys have got to be able to get along on a mental level. Like, you got to have a lot of the same memories in common to be able to pilot that particular vehicle. And then a lot of Gundams, they can fly. It's more like a cockpit, like being in um a plane. And I now what I will admit, some of the Jaegers have some nice weapons. Um, Take for instance, like if so, I know I bring up Gundam Wing a lot. If you look at some of the Gundams, like Sand Shark, he doesn't really have like a lot of weapons or whatnot. But if you look at obviously, if you look at either Wing Zero or Zero One, you know, with the Buster Cannon, that's a lot more appealing. Even somebody like Heavy Arms, you got the straps as arms and all those missiles. That's more appealing. It just depends. It really would depend on what you would have to choose from. Because
Are
if
the
if
Jaeg are the I'm sorry, go ahead, Carl Fisher.
no, you go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
Well, I was just gonna ask, are the Jaegers and the Gundams even comparable? Because size wise, when I think about the battle scale, I think the Pacific Rim Jaegers are much more resource intensive and much larger in size. Hence, therefore, like Gundams, I don't know of a Gundam that is completely is there a nuclear one out there?
No, I don't think there's like a nuclear Gundam where the point of it is to blow up.
Yeah, like the Pacific Rim Jaegers, some of those are nuclear reactors, like walking reactors. So I don't think it's even a comparable, just it's a matter of what you would rather fight in and with. Um,
I'm not fighting with a Jaeger, and um, I'm not fighting the
Kaiju.
yeah, I'm not fighting the Kashus. I'm not fighting them.
I
I
would
don't want to.
say, in
I'd
my
rather
I
take my
think.
chances with like a
Oh, go
human
ahead, Mac.
pilot who can make just take my chances with him.
In my opinion, I think depending on which Gundams that you choose, I think a Gundam would be more suited for fighting a Jaeger just because they're more suited for fighting like multiple targets, and then their mobility, um, their stance from a mobility standpoint, they're able to move around, you know, at high speeds, and then you have hand to hand weapons, like almost like a large lightsaber or trident or anything that's good for hand to hand combat. So yeah, that's just me.
Here's a comparison, a size chart. I'm gonna plop in the chat for y'all to take a look at real quick.
250 feet.
Yeah, I don't think the Gundams can fight a Jaeger. Just they, which I didn't realize this, but yo, biggest Gundam, nah.
Yeah, Gundams are only like 59 feet tall.
Yeah, they're not. A Jaeger's gonna kick that. Let me know y'all can see this. But you're getting to say the Jaegers are they're pretty big.
Yeah. It's because of the things that they were
Yeah, they were designed to fight.
They were
Yeah, because
designed to
Gundams
fight
are more
different things.
human, hand-to-hand mobile suits for just enhanced soldiers, really. They're not designed to fight intergalactic monsters. But yeah, that was a off balance question. I don't know why the picture won't post it. I just posted it to the chat, but it's not. I guess
So, Will, what's yours? Have you gave your third one yet?
my third. No, I have not. This was a tough call for me. Because on one hand, I'm getting sucked into Bleach, and I really like the premise and concept, but the idea of being like a soul reaver, they basically have to leave there. He has to be outside of his body to do what he does, right? Like I'm only about 30 to 40 episodes in.
Oh man, you don't
But I
want
feel
that.
like that's gonna get old really quick, always having the, spirit realm to real earth and spirit realm back and forth. So I was way in between that and now if I say Dracula, does that encompass all aspects of the monster verse? Like that would include
Yeah,
Castlevania, all that,
no.
because I'm thinking of a universe.
I would say no on that, just because Castlevania has different rules than Bram Stoker's.
Being
That Dracula's dead and he's been brought back to life, and he's got priests and all these other things looking to bring him back to life and resurrect him and stuff like that. It's not in Bram Stoker's Dracula. He died. He just dies at the end.
yeah, it's a fine. Yeah, Anne Rice kind of picked up the mantle there, but okay. So I'm trying to think of the best case scenario where I could start a wolf pack and turn all the homies into werewolf.
Well, since I can go.
Yeah, I have to come back to that.
And you missed your opportunity, buddy, because I'm going Underworld for my third one. Because
Yeah, but
Wolfpack,
see,
baby.
That's the thing. Underworld is. I thought about that, but that's still the like. Think about the rules of that universe. Like those
Yeah.
werewolves are super limited, and that's not. I would take the Van Helsing werewolves over Underworld's
But it's
werewolves. I
not
love.
like they don't have a. Do they run in packs on Van Helsing?
No,
They can. There's nothing that says they couldn't.
that's true.
Dracula was just taking them, snatching them, and making them enslaving one when he could, out of fear that they could kill him. But he did his best to kind of try to take out as many werewolves as he could. So I think we can run. Wolfpack has always been a thing. So yeah, I say we can get a Wolfpack going.
Let's do it in Underworld, because I think in Underworld they can change whenever they want to, instead of just when the moon is out.
They can.
See, but that's always been a part of werewolf mythos, period. And that's being able to change when you want becomes a learned technique. It's not something amateur werewolves can do, but with age and time, you learn how to control and activate that shit. But in traditional werewolf mythos, it is always surrounded about no. Go ahead.
I thought it was because they were lichens, and then like there's a difference between a lichen and a werewolf. Like a werewolf kind of like stands on all fours. It's more like stands on all fours and then transforms when the moon is out. And lichens can pretty much go, I'm about to turn into a wolf.
Werewolf was always a lycanthrope to me. Just the way that it's been portrayed has changed depending on whose interpretation we're watching.
Banks, are you talking about in the movie Underworld or just in general?
You said, what was that second option? I didn't hear you.
Are you talking about in the movie franchise Underworld, or just in general?
Oh, the movie franchise.
In the movie franchise, how it works, how they explain it is that once you're bitten by a werewolf, you turn into a werewolf and you stay that way. It just so happens that when they were breeding werewolves, one of them was born human, and he was in a sense a genetic mutation. So they decided, oh, this is useful, so they just made more of him. And that's how the breed that they call lichens form.
Okay.
But traditionally a lycanthrope is a werewolf. Like that's what the translation to werewolf comes from. Latin, the lycanthrope, I believe. But that's what that is. And I believe the traditional werewolf mythos, you could transform during the windows of those who can transform at will are able to do so during the window of the full moon. Now, Darkstalkers may explore other avenues to that, being able to activate that power I don't know, store some moon energy. I don't know. I'll have to deep dive into werewolves and see. Sounds like we're making up a bomb ass werewolf character. 28K. My bad.
Banks, are you concerned about the conflict between vampires and werewolf in your universe to coexist peacefully?
Fuck them vampires.
Amen to that, bro.
I ain't scared of no vampires. You see what happened when the Lycans got out? They whooped the hell out of them.
You saw
vampires.
Dracula get his throat ripped out by a werewolf.
Yeah.
They know what time it is.
They know what's up.
Wolfpack, baby.
Don't come to this block. You don't want them.
Don't come to this wolf den.
You don't want them.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Imagine being in the spot and just kicking, like activating your werewolf just because a nigga stepped on your shoe.
He's like, dog, I know you did not step on my ones.
No, you did not just scuff the Travis Scott J's, bro.
Dog, I know you just didn't step on my ones. Now you done busted through the whole Jordan 1, the whole shoe destroyed because your foot done busted through it. But yeah, it's worth it.
Oh shit.
I got a quick question. Will, it's your turn.
Well, I know I want to do something that involves werewolves. I don't know, man. I might have to take the egg on the third universe because F it, regular show.
Okay. Oh, I was gonna give you a question just in case.
Regular show is because honestly, that's Mordecai and Rigby represent that phase of life that we all go through where you're just really figuring shit out, and they are stuck only. They live in that world and they have like access to any type of power at any given time, the powers of the Toonverse, right? But the most random shit occurs and they find themselves plop smack dab in the middle of it. And it's very much a show about nothing, like a coming of age cartoon. And that'd be dope to be able to just sit back, not really have to worry about shit, just go on random adventures with the crew and not have to worry about actual threats, like real life or death situations, you know? As a cop out, but until I can figure out my werewolf universe.
Well, I got a question. So, what's one universe you wouldn't want to be a part of?
Lovecraft. His universe is a very dark, depressing, evil place. It sucks.
Hold on, what was
and
the question?
Racist. Now, can I say the actual universe I live in where racism thrives? Is that one? Is that
Hold on, what?
I'm sorry, Banks. I asked the question, what universe would you not want to be a part of?
Gotham fucking City.
That's DC though.
I know, but I would not want to be plugged in Gotham, bro. Like, Batman is whooping your ass for even if you're a villain or if you're a regular criminal. Batman is breaking your bones because you got into a bar fight or whatever. If Batman feel like kicking your ass, he gonna do it.
You can't be too big because if you draw too much positive attention, the villain's gonna target you. And now you waking up in some Joker trap and hoping Batman come save your ass.
Yeah, you can't even smoke weed in your. Not saying I smoke, but if I did, you just in the house chilling in a state that is not legal.
Yo, why don't people in Gotham fucking move? Like, you would think if the Joker was popping up every other week, wrecking havoc, a bomb about to go off, or acid bath in somebody, like, how much is enough to where you just decide, you know what, the rent ain't worth it? Like, the rent in Gotham can't be worth the shit they have to deal with as everyday citizens, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy out there. It's like Batman.
Metropolis neither.
Yeah, I ain't going to Metropolis. I was joking, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not going. Like,
no, but think about waking up at any day and Superman could be in the middle of a fight that, somebody came and wants to destroy the planet, and guess what? They can. But we got Superman. Like, yeah, he just uppercutted the nigga, but he went through a building and them rocks just fell on all these people below me.
My car.
Everybody don't get saved in the. That's why I stayed away from the Marvel universe, because as cool as it would be to be an Avenger, you are literally saving the world all the time. That would get so taxing.
Yeah. I'm saying, and you couldn't be a regular person there because your shit always getting pushed back by an alien. Or,
always getting pushed. Yeah. And any minute you out on a date, your gal, she Spider-Man swoop in, and now she like, damn, Peter Parker. You like, damn, bro.
Yeah, or you just at a coffee shop and then somebody get punched through a wall. And now both your
Doc
legs,
Ock shows up.
both your legs broken. You ain't got no look. You're done. Like it just sucks. Like
you was taking Shorty on a dinner date and Scarecrow fear toxin both of y'all, and now
you're never trying to pull your face off because you think got spiders on you. Like I'm not doing it.
Rocking back and forth, experiencing your worst nightmare.
I'm not doing it. I'm not going to Gotham.
Yo, but the rent in Gotham is cheap, they say.
No, it's not. Because you're getting racketeered by some low-level crime boss.
The Marconi family, not to forget. In addition to the supervillains, you still have the mob and regular crime to worry about.
We're gonna need an extra $500 for your security. I'm like, nigga.
Oh man, yo, imagine getting extorted by the mob, punched by Batman, kidnapped by Joker, and that was just Monday.
Like, look, I'm just gonna resort to a life of crime because being regular is not the way to be.
So, I guess my one universe that I wouldn't want to be a part of is The Witcher. I would not want to be a Witcher, even though they've got high skill, got a little power. Everybody hates you. The monsters you deal with are legit, and there's no guarantee you're gonna beat them.
So questions about witches, because I watched the anime, which was surprisingly pretty dope. But the witches are they, even though they can be killed, what monster is there a threat to? Because at this point in the story where we see them, they've run out of monsters to kill. They didn't kill them all, like to the point where they're manufacturing. So in the Witcher universe, are they pretty much the top of the food chain when it comes to monster slaying? Like they look for the challenge because they can just fuck some shit up. Or are there big bad monsters out there that are capable of taking out entire Witcher covens or droves or whatever?
Before I answer, Banks, have you seen that?
No, I haven't watched all of The Witcher yet. But yeah, I've seen a lot of behind the scenes stuff because I follow a lot of people on Instagram that was on it.
Cool with me talking about it?
Yeah, I don't care. Like spoilers don't bother me.
Okay,
so.
Cool. Okay. So I would say you bring up a good point, Will, about were they killing off all the monsters or whatnot. I think what was happening in the movie was I think you had one or two that were just really, really good at their job. Like Vesemir was just a beast. I mean, and we see like in the actual TV series that his protege Gerald, I mean, takes a lot. I mean, you don't see like I would say you see about 60% of Vesemir and Gerald. Their personalities are obviously completely different. Vesemir is obviously more charismatic, more smiling or whatnot, and always on the bright side. More about getting stacks and stacking up his money and like all these other things. But I think he and the guy who actually taught him maybe one other character we didn't get to see were just really good, and they were completing all the tasks they were going out of. And I think the guy who trained them, he was just thinking, well, these people are going to come for us one day, so maybe I can delay that by having more monsters.
I mean, it just seemed to me, at least watching it, they did the classic, because there's the talk about corrupt witches and they're greedy, right? It's the classic. They very much, when you're good at something, you don't do it for free. But when you've exhausted all the monsters, like they're too good, and it doesn't appear to be, because to the point, notice the mage had to create. She experimented with the elf to make a sort of a hybrid, bigger threat to take on the witches. That was part of her plan all along.
Yeah.
So it seems to me like they are the big bads in their universe. Like if there were any bigger threats before them, they nixed that in the bud.
And now that I actually think about it, I think they could, if they didn't change anything, if they had just kept where they were, I think
the natural order kind of.
Yeah, I think that they would they would eventually found work because you saw like at the end of the movie, look how many monsters she called on.
Right. But those were, I mean, and no doubt there was plenty more out there, but I think at some point wasn't the elf uh chick out there manifesting those monsters, like summoning them and conjuring them,
She
or
she was
something to that effect. Like
she was using her power of illusions to make them go through that portal.
okay, okay, all right. I mean, just as it turns out, that was a very dope origin story for you know who, which we're going to see his story continue. Which now, fast forward at the point in his story, we see he's at a disadvantage as a Witcher, so they're not quite. So maybe it's a time thing. At one point, they
Yeah.
were
Yeah,
because
because
he's known, but he's not. You know,
yeah,
he's not as
because
impervious as these witches appear to be.
yeah, because as the live action show that we all saw first with Henry Cavill, you see that
Yeah,
there's plenty of work and like he can't keep
yeah.
up with the work now.
So maybe monsters have naturally returned as a result. You know, and this ends with him as a kid, so we've got a lot to happen. You know, and I hope they continue that because Netflix did a very good job. Netflix has been killing it in the anime department. I got to give them props. They've been killing it in the anime department, delivering for real, for real. But was that everybody's final universe?
Mhm.
All right, let's get to the man of the hour because at this point, y'all, I am really hungry.
Well, why don't we just tell them what we're gonna talk about next week? Because I just sent a urgent. What the hell? Just check the messages real quick.
No, we can get into the because let's give it the files while it's fresh.
I mean, it'll still be fresh in 7 days.
Well, guys, we were going to talk about. No, let's talk about Candyman. Let's
Come on,
go
let's
ahead.
do
We've
it.
all
Fuck
seen
it.
it. Do it. I mean,
Let's do it
first,
live.
I want to say I'm going to go ahead and dispel the rumor now. This camera counts as a mirror, right? All
Hey,
right.
bro. We don't play those.
Candyman.
We don't play those. I'm turning the Zoom
Candyman.
off.
Candyman. Candyman. Killer Cam. Killer Cam. I'm Killer.
I was about to say, dog. Look,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and write your testament over.
Hell no, we don't play that bullshit around here.
Games
Cuz
over
they
here,
had us
dog.
messed up in the game. Man. Nah, that's the one urban legend. I don't care how fake it is. Yeah, I'm not saying that 5 times and
Somebody
nobody
might kill me off GP.
I seen what happens to people. You feel me? So Candyman hit theaters 2 weeks ago. We all saw it.
Wait, it was 2 weeks ago. I thought it was last week.
Now, it's been 2 weeks, bro.
Dang. Okay, you were right. Ouch. Yeah, you were.
Wait, what was last week? Yeah, it's been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks.
How do we feel about it?
Well, I'm glad I didn't listen to everybody who said it was a think piece about police brutality because it wasn't. I thoroughly enjoyed. Like the movie wasn't super. It wasn't scary at all. But I think the movie was like well done. Like it was a really good story, and then like how they told the story was really good, and then how they revealed what was going on. It kind of kept you on your toes throughout the movie, trying to like not necessarily be scared, but trying to guess what's happening. So not creating another stale movie, not another one but yeah, just another stale movie of I knew this was gonna happen, no surprises. Yeah, I think they did a really good job of keeping it fresh, and then like telling a well written, well told story. So, What about y'all? And of course,
Want me to go next, Will?
Yeah, go ahead, Carl, because I got a bit of I'm not going to be well-winded, but I do want to explain very thoroughly and choose my words carefully as I kind of explain my stance on it.
I have to be honest. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, and I don't know if you can tell. I know I have a very monotone voice and I talk slow a lot, but I enjoyed this, and that came as a little bit of a surprise to me because typically horror movies they're a tough watch for me. I'm not saying like I despise all horror movies, but generally speaking, like out of out of all the genres there are, horror is usually like at the bottom of like my list. But this was a very great movie in my opinion, just because like what Banks said, this told a really great story. So like the flow in this movie, and I know that seems like a very general term, but the flow in this movie was great. I recommend anyone go see this. Um, um, this this gave a refresher, told a new story, and gave you something new all in the same. And I'll come back around and say some comments later. But once again, like I said before, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
So at first, um, and let me just say, full disclaimer, I didn't hate the movie.
Uh-oh. Sounds
I
like you
enjoyed
hated
watching
too.
it. No, well, y'all know me. I like to deep dive. And Candyman, I told y'all ahead of time I was going to do a whole thing on Candyman because I thought we would have a much deeper conversation than what I think we're going to have tonight. But that's neither here nor there. I didn't hate the movie. I was entertained by the movie. I enjoyed watching it. At first watch, I was a bit critical, kind of just because. Well, so my stance on horror, love it as a genre, right? If you've ever looked at the tattoos on my arm, I've got some what people would consider iconic horror monsters, right? Or villains. My pleasure in horror comes from the fact that I know none of it is real. The real meaning behind some of my tattoos is we all have our monsters, but these aren't the monsters that anybody's worried about because the real monsters for me growing up and that I've been subject to my entire life, racism. I know what being looked at with hate feels like. I know what being cornered in an uncomfortable situation surrounded by white men with ill intention feels like. And so watching this film, I was a little bit critical of that part because I during the representation episode, I made it a point to articulate that slavery movies don't necessarily trigger me, even though that's the same black trauma nonetheless, you know. And I think it's that stems from a perspective that slavery happened, past tense. It's not something that I experienced, not to forsake the sacrifices of my ancestors, but it's not something that I experience still today, right? Police shooting niggas for fun happens daily. We get reports about it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. You know, go search the internet. You could probably find more than you care to if you wanted to. So this movie was very on the nose with that. And for anybody who hadn't seen it, sorry to spoil that for you, but there's that final scene where, you know, exactly that. And in the light of everything that's happened in the past year or two with George Floyd and all that, just to that's the obvious. We know exactly where they were going with police brutality, but even the fresh take on retelling the story, kind of changing the story of Candyman, not making it about this single Daniel Robitar. Because I went back and watched the original first two, didn't waste time with the third. Went back and watched the original first two and did some parallel drawings. And the movie flowed the same way as the original. It was that slow build up, not really much of a is he real, is he not, is he, you know, the play that it was very much that same type of build up in the original movie, and the original was very much on the nose with racism and race relations. And I realized towards the end of the first movie, rewatching, I thought about how triggered I felt because it was like when the cop busts in, and she's on the ground with Yaya, and he shoots the other guy just immediately. It kind of snapped me out of the fact that I was in a movie, and that was triggering. And I realized at that point, I think that was the point. For somebody who watches scary movies and doesn't get scared or doesn't feel a lot, doesn't get triggered, the fact that Nia DaCosta managed to make me feel something with something that's very real, like, because I kind of it snapped me out of the movie and snapped me to this, like, oh shit, you know, I felt fear, like, yeah, that shit can and does happen, and that made me really appreciate what this movie was doing with its pivot and retelling of Candyman. Because again, I say at first watch, I was a little critical when I didn't even have to finish my re-binge, and it turned into me just rewatching for the sake of it. But by the end of the first movie, rewatching that, I really, really appreciated the direction that Nia took this film, how they told the story. My one drawback, if any, is just the lack of Tony Todd. But Vaughn and I kind of talked about that off camera before, and I didn't really piece together perspective that essentially our man's is getting his powers back.
Yeah.
Like it's did you pick up on that, Carl?
If I'm being honest, I didn't necessarily look at it as him getting his powers back. I looked at it almost kind of like let's say if Batman were passing on his mantle to someone else. That's kind of how the way I took it as like when at the it's and back to what I was saying and a lot of things like you were saying when you were talking about like
Well,
slavery and
before
whatnot.
you dive into that, let me just explain this. It's a breaking of the fourth wall. What we see is what Yaya is seeing, Tony, Anthony, the baby. And I like the way they connected it to the original, which is what made me go back and watch the original. And I really, because it's really,
tied it back to all three of them.
yeah, they tied it back to all three. And that's really what makes it kind of a masterpiece, in my opinion, just to kind of the reboot. But from Anthony's perspective, he keeps seeing, what's the dude's name? Is it Sherman?
Yeah.
He's seeing him in the mirrors. But for people who are seeing Candyman, they're just seeing the bees. Like their interface, they're seeing a figure bee face, right? By the end of the movie, the bees form into Tony Todd, the Candyman we know. And Vaughn pointed out that each killing or each assimilation of the mantle is him orchestrating behind the scenes, building himself and building his legend back up so he can fully return. Hence, at the end, when he forms and looks at Nia and says, "Tell everyone." Because Candyman, Daniel wrote, our Candyman is actually back. And I think that's the setup now. When Vaughn pointed out, I was like, okay, that makes sense in terms of a setup for part two, seeing Tony Todd. If that's what they're going to do. Not to say that you're wrong, but it's just, I didn't think about that. Vaughn pointed out that it looked like he was kind of each person to embody Candyman each time, because it's a rolling thing. There's like an underground cult, right? The dude who set him up as a kid or whatever, who'd been setting people up his whole life, he's kind of been orchestrating all the, doing all this on this belief that we need Candyman. He's not the first, because there are multiple Candy men before him, going back to the OG. So it's kind of like the OG behind the scenes or from the spirit world has been orchestrating sacrificing, because that's very much the theme in the original, very Phantom of the Opera noir, like come die with me, be my victim, right? But each one is a sacrifice to help him level back up until he can fully return.
Yeah, so he can get out here and just start ripping people's backs out.
Yeah, but not to cut you off, I just wanted to clarify. That's what I'm like, getting his powers back, because I was kind of like, man, they all that hype and we don't see, because you and I talked about it, Carl. But you pointed out that now it looks like he might be transforming into him, and I was like, yo, all that lead up and we didn't even get Tony Todd, and I was like, oh well, if he was really just doing all this to get his powers back, then that makes sense. And now he's, because at the end he just walks out, and here's why he doesn't even kill. He doesn't kill her, right? The legend of, maybe because he loves her. But at this point, there's no ghost. Like, Yah just gets up and walks right out, kills all of them, and now he's in the physical world. So, what were you about to go down?
What was you
Sorry,
about
that
to
was a lot.
Go ahead and finish.
Yeah, sorry about that, man.
You said what?
You were
Go
about
ahead
to say something. I just wanted to clarify that before you
point
went
of view.
into what you were.
Oh, my bad. I was saying the way it looked like to me, and I'm not saying this is right. It was almost, I'm trying to think of the proper character to compare this to, but it's almost like if Batman were to pass on his mantle to Dick Grayson and eventually like to Damian Wayne or whatnot, not in the same way, but it's just for those of you who haven't seen it, at the end they spoiler alert, so they show all these different characters and like the tragedies that have happened to them, and like one of them particularly like stood out to me. I forgot his name, but you guys heard of the case where I forgot what state it was, but the 16-year-old boy who was
Yeah, the little, yeah.
who was sentenced to death by electrocution.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
I mean, and like they blame that murder on him, like all white jury full of
Yeah,
men,
yeah.
courtroom all white, all this
Yeah.
other. I mean, whatnot. Like he was like one of the stories, and they showed him like as a character like on a bike like with a hook, and like with the way I looked at it as is just that um the original Candyman, he sees all these like seeing all these incidents happen. He's like you know what, not so much as if like he sees it's like, oh, I can use you. He says, you know what, why don't you join me, you know, let's, hey, me, you, such and such, such and such, eventually we can all have our revenge. Like I mean, we can all do X, Y, and Z. Maybe even prevent some of these from happening, and make less.
I don't think they turned him into a hero. I think he's very much still here to fuck people up.
I know, but I guess what I'm basically saying is like,
But
let's do evil, but let's do evil so other people don't have to do evil.
I mean, we will see the direction they take. It could be right. Just I think if the Tony, when I'm hoping we get more CGI Tony Todd, because also he's older now. But what just even lending his vocal talent to the role, when I heard his voice come on at the end, it said chill. I was like, oh shit, yeah, Candyman. Used to have nightmares about that nigga.
Yeah, the only reason I don't see it as Tony Todd, passing down the mantle, is because he did it to that white girl too. They talk about that white woman a lot.
He did sacrifice
her.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of his relatives. So like, even though we talk about how these situations occurred throughout time of people being falsely accused, they were falsely accused, and it could have been because Candyman set them up to look like they were accused of doing stuff. So they're using those situations throughout time to make it, because even with the white woman and Anthony, they didn't do anything. Like, the dude in the beginning set Anthony up. Like, he set him up. Like, once he knew about Candyman, he set him up to go on the path to sacrificing himself to Candyman. He also did the same. He did the same thing with the Sherman in the beginning, because when he
was
went
it Sherman
down
or
there,
Shane?
I think it was Sherman.
Yeah, but the one who got blamed, when he set the it's kind of he was on.
Because the little boys, I believe the little boys set him up too, because when the cops came in, there was no beehive down there, but bees were on the inside of the door where he was getting shot at. So I think throughout time, Candyman has been using the cult to set
manipulating these moments of deep sorrow and pain, because that's when he can manifest. That's what he feeds
off of. That's what brings him back.
That deep sorrow and despair, misery, violent death, usually wrongful, which is an homage very much to how he went out. And again, I was critical at first. I ended up, when I came to the realization of what they had done with this movie, I was like, wow, that was pretty heavy. And the fact that it made me feel that, because I got triggered and I was feeling like, damn, fearful. Like, even the immediate thought was, even in a scary movie, cops will still show up and shoot the shit out of niggas, no questions asked. It's like you see two men laying on the floor, she's covered in blood, yet your first boom boom in is pow pow. Like, but that yet to be seen what direction they're gonna go with that. Either way, I'm excited for what they were able to do. But let's talk about the shall we get into the kills?
Do you want to spoil the kills for people who haven't watched?
Okay, so let's, in fairness, but I will say visually, I liked a lot of these more than what I did in the past.
Yeah,
past three movies.
I think it came from the fact that you never knew when it was gonna come, because you couldn't actually see him. Like in the old movies, he would just pop up behind people. It's like, yeah, he's gonna die.
Yeah, yo, straight up, like it was straight 90s slasher vibes. Like the camera would pan, you see him looking down. It's like, oh yeah, they dead. It's no sugarcoating. Candy Man here.
Like that person, the camera's behind that person, and the door closes. Oh, you're dead.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
On this one, like the lady's just walking and stuff. What the? Yeah, so
that was very creative.
Yeah, she just
the art dealer was a very interesting take. I really want to talk about that bathroom scene.
Yeah, because there wasn't a whole lot of them. Like that's what I was expecting.
Oh no,
just being like
we got a high body count.
We got about 7.
We got double digits.
We got double digits.
The bathroom, high school bathroom, police at the end. About 3 or 4 leading up to that. Art dealer, art critic, and an intern. We got double digits.
I mean, but with the police officers, they don't really like.
That was 5 bodies, bro.
I mean, yeah, they died, but it's not like they didn't die to scare you. They died because it's just like, yo, now I'm about to get my revenge, like I should have been getting all this time. Like that's kind of what it was. It's like seeing people die in an action movie. It's like, yeah, it's not like a horror, because like they're about to die because you see him walking up to him, kind of like. But like in horror movies, I like body counts are like the actual kills you see that are put in there for the sake of scaring you.
You got to count the off screen if it's later confirmed.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, if an off screen is later, like if you see somebody disappear, then you see their body later. Like, come on, like yeah, they're dead.
Yeah, it counts. It counts, but it's not like, oh, let's talk about which one was your favorite kill, of which most creative kill, because it's just like any other time somebody dies in a movie.
Oh, I found the quote that opened the OG movie opens up with.
What does it say? I don't even remember the quote from the beginning of the movie.
So the OG movie opens up with after some mean church organ playing in a pan out shot of Chicago cityscape. You hear Candyman's voice come over narrative style. What's blood for if not for shedding? With my hook for a hand, I'll split you from your groin to your gullet. And I just want to say that bathroom kill, I think that's exactly what happened to the first girl.
Yeah, they was in there getting messed up. They was in there getting messed up, bro.
When you heard that I was like, she's getting ripped. She's getting ripped open pretty bad.
Yeah, he's getting. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I guess I need therapy. I'm the guy who goes to see horror movies to see people get fucked up. Guys,
I want to see the kills. Like that's
Halloween Kills. I'm very much looking forward to Mike Myers going ham.
Yeah,
what I'm buying my ticket for. I don't expect Jamie Lee to win. She might, but she might not.
Yeah, that's what horror movies. I mean, I grew up on slashers, so like that's what horror movies are to me. Like sci-fi, even the sci-fi horror movies, like people are getting killed. Like,
oh yeah, seeing an alien run amok is always some good entertainment.
Yeah, so yeah, sorry to all you psychological thriller lovers out there, but no bueno. You're not welcome here.
Did we find any hiccups? Because honestly, with the pivot, I mean, I'd buy Candyman 2.
You say you'll go buy Candyman?
Like based off what they did with part 1, like I'd buy, because here's something I was worried about. Jordan Peele was vocal about wanting to do social thrillers, his next 6 projects. I don't think Candyman is included because this is straight up horror. And I was worried that Peele was going to maybe pivot from a production standpoint, and kind of make it PG-13. He did not. So I think Candyman 2 comes back, beefed up on steroids.
Yeah, because like that's a lot of people were saying, oh, it's about police brutality, blah, blah. And then I watched the movie. It's like, bro, like.
Well, I mean, it was, though. It
was, but it wasn't. It's about going through, because like if this one's about police brutality, then the original was about police brutality, and it wasn't. It's just
whoa. I'm glad you brought that up. Fun fact about the original: very controversial movie based off the Forbidden short story written by Clive Barker that directly not only addresses race. But it wasn't coincidence that Candyman came out post Rodney King LA riots in 1992. So yes, very much on the nose to address and deal in the face of that race relationship happening, that tension happening. very much an on the nose film to directly speak to that. All aspects. It doesn't focus on that being the focal point of the relationship between Candyman and Helen. True. However, it is very much about race relations in total. And the studio had a lot to say about what made the final cut and what didn't, because there was some stuff that had to be left out.
Yeah, I get that, but like just a police officer killing somebody does not make the entire deal. Because like the police officer is not the reason Anthony was becoming Candyman. He was going to become Candyman regardless.
Right.
So it was like, yeah, they added that into the end of the movie, but when people were talking about it, they made it seem like the very beginning.
That was
that was the whole movie was about that, and they just added that element to tie into the you need to suffer and go through stuff, and have your name drugged through the mud, and then then get murdered by a cop, and then nobody cares because they look at you as a murderer because I've been manipulating the whole situation the whole time, so everybody will think that you're crazy, and everybody will think that you've been doing this stuff when it's really been me. So they're saying Candyman did this, but they're blaming you.
Well, it's very much spot on with the weaponization of white tears, which is something that we've all been a victim of in one shape, form, or fashion or another. If you've ever been in a scenario where somebody white, and not all white people, we're not saying white people all do this. This is specifically to these racial situations, and the people we're talking to, we know exactly who we're talking about, and they do too. But where a white person could literally just accuse you, Salem witch trial you of something, and immediately, with the skin of your color, you are the scapegoat. You are the problem, the aggressor, even if you're sitting there doing nothing, minding your business. The Karen memes took off in the past 2 years, but we saw real life scenarios going viral of white people literally going out of their way to create unnecessary strife and pain for black people who were simply trying to exist. Talk about Black Wall Street, but it was not the only black town burnt down and massacred. Central Park was once a thriving black community. There's a town still underwater in Georgia. So Candyman, for those people who say, it was about police brutality and make it as if the movie was about that in its entirety, no. The movie is about racism, but when you talk about racism, you cannot leave that aspect out. You don't have to always show it, but that's very much a part of the conversation. So it's kind of it makes no sense to have a qualm about that, because I was critical at first, and I had to go back and rewatch and come to find out, yes, this entire trilogy has always been about racism. Yeah. That is what Candyman is about. And it's not until the second movie where we actually get a flashback to see exactly what happens to him. And it is just as brutal to watch as watching Rosewood or watching a scene out of Beloved or 12 Years a Slave. Like, what they did to Candyman, it's a brief moment in the movie where it gets sentimental. It's like, damn, that's fucked up, because you realize. So Candyman, to give y'all, and here's some fun facts, I'll just spill it. He's the son of a wealthy shoemaker who took up painting. His crime, love. Falls in love with a white woman. They obviously back in those days had no care for what Virginia versus Loving, State of Virginia versus Loving. But they kill him. They lynch mob, drag him out to the field, cut off his good hand, smear honey on him. A biblical swarm of bees pops up out of nowhere, stings him, and his soul gets trapped in a mirror forever, and he dies, being laughed at as Candyman. It's a painful, brutal way to go. But this movie has very much always been about racial relations, racial tension. So people who complain about that, like, nah, it's all of that's a part of it. And it's going to continue to talk about these things as they happen. And talking about the police bit at the end made this very much relatable to today's
I think the police
audience.
bit is what made it modern.
Yeah, that's the only reason they included that. And if you have a problem with that, you shouldn't have bought a ticket to the movie. Just to be honest, let's call that what it is. Because I tried to be critical of it, and when I did in my examination, I have nothing to be critical about, minus the lack of Tony Todd, who I think will appear in Candyman 2.
Yeah, and I need him to be like visible.
I need that trench coat.
Yeah,
trench coat.
I would say
top.
I need
knocking people's backs out.
I need him opening up his chest. Bees,
bees with the
dig
real.
This. Y'all know those bees were real
on his face. Yeah.
No, in the old trilogy, all of those bees were real.
Yeah.
At least for the first two, they used a beekeeper who concocted a special pheromone, even for the scenes where they're all over Helen, because he just doused her in a synthetic queen pheromone and they used infant bees, bees who were born within 24 hours of birth, because their stingers aren't developed. So even if they do get a little aggressive, it's not, at risk to the actors. But every scene where you see bees on the prosthetic, even in his mouth, they built a latex prosthetic to cage the back. And he said like 1 or 2 slipped in while filming that scene. But when he opens his mouth, those are all actually live bees, and they're just using a pheromone to kind of direct. The ASPCA was on set to make sure that none of the bees were harmed or killed. And when they were done shooting, they just sucked them up in a harmless bee vacuum and put them back in the habitat. But Tony Todd had a actual bonus written into his contract, because I think in the third film, some of them had some stingers.
Yeah,
but he got a bonus pay for every time he got stung.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I don't.
Just a fun fact out there.
Yeah, I would say I don't have any complaints about the movie. I would say one part I was a little confused about when they're originally telling the story to the main character, and they talk about how the woman kidnaps the child, and then they change it later to did they change did,
No,
did
she snapped.
No, that was the. Go ahead, Vaughn. Go ahead.
They was pretty much about to sacrifice the baby. Like, Candyman was like, "Yo, I want this baby since I can't get her, bring me a baby and throw him in the fire." So when they threw the baby in the fire, she went into the fire and got the baby out. So everybody was blaming her because she was going through the stuff that Anthony was going through in the movie. Like in the third Candyman, he wanted her to kill herself so she could be a part of his
live forever with him in
menagerie.
Death.
So like, he was going around killing her family, killing her friends, killing anybody that got close to her, so they could blame her for all the murders and make it seem like she was the murderer. So when she going around saying it's not me, it's Candyman, it's making Candyman stronger.
Yeah, and
making his legend stronger. And then the cult is what was the ones that were, pretty much about to sacrifice the baby.
But the cult didn't pop up till later. The first movie, it's very much just the neighborhood. And Helen, we're seeing 2 stories play out. There's the story that we know is happening. Then there's the story as it's perceived by other people. Because to that point, this movie did a good job at showing what it looks like objectively when we see Candyman killing people. Because you don't even get a visual of that in the original trilogy till like the third movie. Or maybe in the first, there's like on the videotape, but where it very much looks like just an invisible something is happening, murdering these people. But from our perspective, the audience, we see him just setting people up. So in the first movie, we see how he's setting Helen up, but Helen is searching for the child. Like, he's kidnapped the child. And there's an annual bonfire that night, I believe, for one reason or another. And Helen suspects that the baby, I think she sees the baby in the fire. So she's going to rescue him. And I think the mother of the child, at first she accuses Helen, but she kind of gets hip to, oh no, it's Candyman manipulating, because they all start to believe. And as they believe, they begin to see him. Because at the end of the first movie, Candyman appears in the fire. When Helen goes in to rescue the kid, and she essentially hands the baby out of the burning, the fire back to his mom, baby Anthony. She dies in the fire next to Candyman. His body is left burning up, charred up. Of course, they retcon that in the second movie, but the story that gets told is that Helen is the new legend, because very much so at the end of Candyman 1, we do see Helen become the new legend. Her husband says her name 5 times in the mirror. She appears to get off erotically killing him, Todd. She hooks him. No hook hand. She just holds it, which looks stupid. But yeah, it's very sensual the way she kills him. And from that point, Helen is supposed to be the new legend. And she gets her own graffiti mural in Cabrini Green of a white woman with hair on fire emerging from the flames like a phoenix. It's kind of, that's how that ended. So I think this movie is illustrating that legend being retold.
Yeah.
But that's not how it played out in the first. Obviously we know what really happened. I can shorten those explanations. I talk too fucking much.
Are you good, bro?
Nah, I don't even like talking as much as I do. I hate podding this weekly because y'all make me talk.
You hate what?
Yeah, I hate having a pod weekly because I have to come on here and actually talk.
Bro, you all right?
Nigga, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it. I said I do hate talking as much as I do. What's wrong with you, fool?
What's wrong with you?
Nigga, I just said I hate talking like I talk too fucking much.
Bro, you good.
Step your game up, man. Add more
Bro,
conversation.
no. How about you be yourself and keep talking?
I am being me, but that still has nothing to do with the fact that I'm talking.
Bro, we mid-pod. This man over analyzing himself. Relax.
I'm over analyzing Candyman, bro. Was it that deep?
Yeah, it was.
Hmm.
It was a retelling of the legend, and it was. I mean, that part that goes into it. Like you're trying to destroy somebody's credibility as a person. Yeah, it's gonna be deep. It ain't gonna just be like.
Oh yeah, the weaponization of white tears. That part. Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, I guess I wasn't overanalyzing that.
Relax, buddy.
Bro, that's frustrating. Seriously. I engage in conversations daily, and this is the main reason why I don't like talking, because you know how many conversations I engage in where I just simply can't be myself and talk about the shit that actually goes through my mind as I look at stuff as it unfolds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly how that feels.
It's like the most frustrating, like your thoughts are constantly trapped and you want to get the shit out, but having to dumb down to just express yourself.
Man, bro, get off my sleeve, bro.
I don't know.
What? Great talk, guys. Great episode.
Maybe I need a therapist. Yeah. I think it's time. Yeah, I think I need a therapist.
Yeah, I agree that this was a great talk. Great conversation.
Carl trying to sidestep away from that. Look, I'm having a moment. I'm coming to some understandings about myself.
Bro, I'm trying to go out on the high
note,
bro.
Great talk, guys.
On the baritone.
No, but mental health is important. I think that's
important.
Like it's something that gets swept under the rug. But I encourage more people to explore therapy because it's not healthy to bottle and come. Because I do that a lot. I do compartmentalize a lot. I take stuff and just pack it up and just push that shit down to the bottom of a pile of shit that gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
On the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I was gonna comment on that.
No, for real. Will, you all right?
Yeah, I'm having a conversation. This is what we pod for, gentlemen. Like I'm actually just having a conversation.
I'm just making sure you're all right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm outletting. I'm having a talk with with y'all.
Yeah. Okay. Can I say something on that?
Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, Carl.
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't think that's unnatural. Will, I think most men, I think if they're honest with themselves, they do that just because like the world doesn't really, and to some degree you could say that, but the world doesn't really reward men for being like emotional and always saying like what's on their mind from an emotional standpoint, because if you do that, you're gonna be viewed as weak by women, by people maybe in your field you're competing with. Like a lot of times, like especially like if you're in the business world, man. I mean, like people take emotion out of it. Like it's just business.
Yeah.
Like I mean, and it's just, I think that's
frustrating.
Yeah, I think that's what. This is just my opinion. I think men understand that more so than anything with other men. I think that's hard for not to take the subject a different way, but it's hard for women to understand that. They may want us to express our feelings or whatnot, but I don't think what they realize is a lot of the environments that we're in, or even with other women or whatnot, when we do that, we're viewed as weak.
Yeah, bro, definitely trying to express your feelings and then the minute you get any hint or sign of weakness, it all crumbles apart. I've had that conversation with a couple of the homies, and it's just dead ass the idea that complaining is not a real luxury that men have.
No,
especially if you're in a position where you are providing and taking care of and trying to making shit happen. The minute that the people who depend on you start to sense or even think that you are weak or showing signs of that you're incapable, all of it starts to crumble. And it's like I have to wear that. I mean, not that I'm not complaining about shit in my life. You know, I'm proud to be a father. I'm proud to be in the position I am. I'm in to work and earn and provide for mine. But that doesn't come without its its moments. Like I be hot strung on stress a lot, and I just keep that shit bottled in because I really don't have any way to kind of and not to get too personal or deep dive, but it's just a lot of times like there's nowhere for me to outlet this burning idea that if it all falls apart, then what? It's just always a forward push with no time to really slow down because it's like I can't afford to take the time to contemplate the what ifs if this shit crumbles. I can't look weak because if the confidence shakes, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
the castle starts to
yeah,
crumble.
and thanks. Well, stop me if this isn't true, but I think most men would agree. Most of us grow up saying most of us grow up hearing, when we do something wrong, we fail or we fall and hurt, whatnot, we start crying. Most of us are told, "Hey, stop all that crying like you're a boy. Hey, stop all that like X, Y, and Z." And I didn't understand that until I got older. That one of the reasons people do that to you is, as a man, especially as a black man, if you do not produce results, you ain't worth crap. That's what the world basically teaches any man. But I mean, if you want to be, especially the black ones, nobody gives a crap about men, especially the black ones.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't know. Like,
Oh, you just gonna dodge this conversation?
yeah. No
I mean,
comment.
I just encourage mental health for everybody.
I do encourage that, but I can't really. My take on being a man in the world can't. It won't be the next person. So it's like,
Oh yeah. That's well. What
oh,
what got me on that subject is the fact that I watch a lot of this stuff now that I'm in a position to watch the stuff that we're for subject matter for review. These are some of the thoughts I find myself having about things that apply to my day to day life. Whether it's between a book I'm reading or a show I just watched, it's like these are things that I really don't get to talk about. And in the past year, it's not just me or a gender thing. We've all been away from other people. We all lost a year. And depending on where you live right now, you may very well still be on some sort of quarantine rules. Nashville is doing whatever it's going to do, mind you. But I myself have stayed away from most public scenes. So when that's all I'm left with, and maybe it's time for me to get back out amongst people too. But all I'm left with is my thoughts at the end of the day. Family situations, personal, which none of which I'm going to dive into on this show. This is all about. we Prism Black got personal. We took a pivot, but it's just these are things I think about. That I process watching some of this stuff, and to that point, Carl, the emotional thing is sometimes I got told that so much growing up. It's some situations that I face or watch in a show or a comic or whatever that I know I should be feeling something or feeling a little bit more empathy wise, and I can't because it's been so drilled in me that hey, stop all that bullshit. Should be feeling like that. Like that's wicked, dude. To look at some effed up shit and know like, man, I should feel a lot more sad than I do right now, but I can't even force myself to get to that type of emotion because it's been drilled in me for so long that you shouldn't feel like that if you're a man. Mm. Anyway, next week on Dragon Ball
next
Z,
on Dragon Ball Z.
Will achieve his final form. His bank's gonna continue to drip freshly, spacely sprockets.
Yes.
What's up with Carl's lighting?
Yeah, Carl, you need to feel like dog.
Something, bro. just trying to see you, fam. I mean, I like the shadow look, but it's real
You
mysterious.
got some real Sith vibes going on over there, bro.
Come on to the dark side, G. Quit playing.
He's already on it, bro. Look at all that. Look at that light.
Name a Jedi that's actually like, bro. Look at how Luke Skywalker went out. Look at that.
First off,
Like, think about that. Think about how he died, bro.
Number one.
He meditated to death.
Number one. You can be a Jedi and wear dark colors.
He meditated to death. My meditation is crazy. Yo, death by meditation is crazy. Oh man. Yo, that's nuts. He thought really hard and poof.
Yeah.
He was no more. That's the set you rolling with, Carl?
Yeah, bro.
Werewolf Dark Side Coalition.
First of all, who says the werewolves will be with the Sith?
The werewolves.
The first werewolf Sith Lord. You looking at him, G.
I mean, the werewolves said they would be with that.
Listen, bro. Listen. I hate to burst y'all bubble, but the vampires would be with the Sith. All right.
But so would the werewolves.
Yeah, so the werewolves.
They can't get along, bro. They don't get along. It's one side or the other.
Nah, there's a vampire planet out there somewhere.
Sith fight Sith, bro. Sometimes we fight each other.
Gang on gang.
Yeah, like, hey, you doing some stuff I don't want you to do to me. I ain't messing with this right now. I'm out. And they say, no,
they
you're
gang,
not.
we
and
gang.
they say, yeah, we are.
And
then we start fighting. We fight who we want to. We kill who we want to. We have babies when we want to.
Square up. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Cold stone when we want to, because we fucking want to.
Yeah.
Topple empires when we want to.
Yeah.
And it's only like 2, maybe 3 of you
Bro,
guys.
we got a Death Star. What more do we need? Yo, don't act. First off, you laugh because like, oh, Luke Skywalker blew up the Death Star and we rebuilt it. All right. But peep game, that shit blew up literal planets, bro. Like what it can do has been done. It is wiped out people. So you laughing until we aim that big cannon at our planet and poof poof.
Why is that a good thing though?
That's a message to the universe.
What if it's a whole planet of child molesters? Fuck out of here.
Greater good. Greater good.
Here. They're out. They're gone. What y'all gonna do? Talk to them? Ask them to stop?
No, bro. That's why we got lifesavers.
No, we got a Death Star. We
what is a lightsaber gonna do? Like it's gonna take you longer to kill them. We can do what we can do with a push of a button.
What's the likelihood of a planet full of child molesters?
What's the likelihood?
According to the law of probability, there's a chance.
Yeah.
In the law of infinite possibility, there's one chance.
You guys are highly intelligent individuals. Tell me the probability based on your just
how many planets are in the universe, you think?
1 out of infinite number of planets across the galaxies.
No, Carl wants a definite. He wants a definite. So let's see how many planets exist in the universe.
In the universe, let's say there are a million planets.
Just in our universe. Then, like, you have other galaxies you can go to in Star Wars, bro. They have planets full of everything there. I'm pretty sure it's a planet where people are getting down like that, and we're just gonna blow it up.
Hold up, almost got it. Nope, I don't. Oh, 3.2 billion habitable systems orbiting around a supermassive black hole at the heart of the galaxy. That's the Star Wars galaxy. So 1 in 3.2 billion. There's your concrete number, Carl.
So it's a solid 10 planets right there. Like it's 10 planets that we gotta blow up.
Okay, so we don't need a Death Star to blow up those 10 planets.
That'd be the most efficient way, all things considered.
Look, man.
It's like the Death Note, though. That's like the.
Carl, when you throwing away your food, do you scrape the whole plate or do you just throw away one macaroni at a time? When you scraping your food into the trash, you just go bloop.
Yeah, bro.
Bloop,
damn, Carl Javon just called you.
Don't you think that's Javon? Don't you think that's an improper analogy though? I mean, like
no, you gotta get rid of the problem.
Pretty direct, bro.
Okay, so couldn't you scrape off that planet by just taking a bunch of ships and nuking it and then going away?
How's that different from the like?
How's it different from us blowing it up?
No, I'm saying like the Death Star creates a problematic risk from it falling into the wrong hands.
We are the wrong hands. What are you talking about?
It's us, bro. Like, it's us.
I'm not the wrong hands though.
Like
I'm
nobody.
the wrong hand.
You say
Like,
somebody
look,
gonna take it
my
from
purpose
us?
is to blow stuff up. That's what.
No, nah, ain't nobody deboing the Death Star from us,
Yeah.
cuz.
Help,
Like-
America! I need help. All right.
He said we are the wrong hand.
Shirt number 10. We are the wrong hand.
No, this is your ruling empire. Nah, yeah, I mean, but that's just yeah. I mean, who gonna stop us? Like, we got to worry about one every 20 years. We got to worry about a Padawan Jedi from Tatooine. Okay.
Because we're not inherently evil. We just have our way of doing things.
Yeah, we have big ass guns just in case we need to get inherently evil. You know, every time you might have to get a little medieval sometimes.
Listen, all I'm saying is Sidious look pretty evil to me.
Fuck Sidious. I kill him myself.
We could run that nigga.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
he can be up out of here. He can be up out of here real quick. Take his whole army.
I'm a Sith. I can kill who I want to kill.
Take his whole army.
Yeah.
Yo, speaking of, that reminds me.
Face sags. Yeah.
Random question. Random question. Who had better bars defeating their enemy? Thanos or Bane?
Bane. Even though I fuck with Thanos'
Think about the bar. I'm talking about the bars now. Think about it.
Bro, Bane.
How so?
Okay.
Bane's voice helped him out.
Do you feel it?
So it's just the presentation is what.
I'm
I'm not mad at that, Carl. I'm not mad at that at all.
In charge?
But hold on, we're not gonna act like Josh Brolin. Like, come on, bro. Hold on.
Nah, I mean,
Listen to this.
he
Bane
had bars.
Some
Brolin had
bro.
bars.
All right, now comparison to comparison. Both showed up at the enemy's doorstep and asked for the smoke, and then proceeded to deliver. But compare it. Think about Thanos. Saw himself get beheaded in an alternate future, alternate reality. Accepts that, embraces it, goes straight to those that he sees responsible, nukes their little headquarters, and sits outside and waits for whoever's left to come up out the rubble and get what's coming to him. All the while talking to them like they toddlers. All the running brought you where? Right back to me. Now come get your ass.
That's
whooped.
not, bro. That the bars in itself is not harder than I was born in it. Bang, literally.
I'm saying Thanos had a lot to say, but I'm not. Again, from the jump, Bane did deliver. No need to stand on.
Bane had bars,
here,
bro.
Mr. Wayne. That was a hard bar to open with. Exposing the nigga identity right before you whoop his ass. So we giving it to Bane?
Yes, that's easy. That's easy, Bane. Easy, Bane. Bane.
I was actually prepared for Carl to disagree with me on that one.
3-0 Bane.
I chose Bane for the record, but I thought one of y'all at least might have a take on Thanos.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on, wait. I didn't choose. I just said like I like Bane's voice. I do like Bane's voice. If I have to,
do you feel in charge?
One of my favorite Bane bars was when he the minute he established that he was how much Bruce Wayne was outmatched. But he said, "You fight like a younger man, nothing held back. It's admirable, but mistaken." Like, damn.
Like,
you about to power drive this nigga.
Valiant effort, but you's a bitch. That's basically
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, I'm about to break your little neck, nigga. Come here." Then he proceeded to turn Bruce Wayne's back into a wet spaghetti noodle. We saw how that played out. So,
yeah, I will say, I honestly have to say, I do have to agree with Bane. I have to think of all their lines, and even though Thanos had some great lines, and I was about to pick him, there's one line that stood out with me that Bane said when you were just talking about Will, when he was first fighting Batman in that sewer, water all around, and Batman turns off the lights and he's like, you think darkness will protect you? He says, "Oh, you just adopted the shadows. I was born in the darkness, raised by it, molded by it.
Yeah,
I didn't see the light till I was a younger man, and then I was blinded." And then he's like, "Yeah,
Yeah. You think the darkness is your
I give it
ally?
back to you, the people.
Yeah, Bane was saying he was dropping hot 16s every other punch.
Bane had best album of the year, dog.
His mixtape was heating up the streets in Bruce. Theatricality and deception. Powerful agents to the uninitiated. But we are initiated, aren't we, Bruce? Members of the League of Shadows. I can do Bane bars all day, bro. I might bring the Bane costume back for Halloween. Only I'm not shaving the head
I'm being
this
a Power
year,
Ranger
so
for Halloween.
y'all getting Dipset Bane all day. Did the thought of Dipset Bane really just register?
Gonna have on some black Timbs or some black Air Force One.
Vortex. And don't forget an Averex leather, son. Got to keep it Brooklyn, baby.
You from Nashville, Tennessee?
Yeah, but Dipset Bane is from Brooklyn, my nigga.
I'm about to go.
Trained in the League of Shadows.
I see y'all
In a
later.
boxing gym in Lower Manhattan, B.
But yeah, I'm about to get up. I gotta go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, we had a good episode tonight. That was
we
what?
did. But we forgot one thing.
What we forget?
I'm Banks himself, aka the dude who just got his COVID shot, aka the dude in the pink sweatshirt, aka swaggy jeans, tight. Okay, that one didn't work. But I'm Banks himself.
Yo, thank God for that edit feature, right?
Yeah, I'm not editing that. I'm leaving that in there. Next.
Yeah, we really did a whole pod. Didn't even bother to introduce ourselves.
No, we surely did not. We were
And
excited.
look what happened to us. We took 2 weeks off and we just forgot all our etiquette.
Right.
All right, well, I guess I'll go ahead and roll next. I guess Carl was going to close us out. It's your man's. Damn, I got my government name up. Y'all forget y'all saw this entire video. That's at Murphy's Law 615, a.k.a. William H., a.k.a. Vaxxed. And yeah, I fucked it up too.
Vaxxed and relaxed, baby.
Doses of fresh COVID in the morning for all y'alls. Carl?
I am Carl Tomlinson, aka Chaos Black, aka the Lone Jedi of the Thread, aka Ben Vax, aka the man in the shadows. In the shadows.
Get that man a light.
He said the Lone Jedi. Yo, that reminds me of that time, Vaughn. We went to that homecoming, that talent show in the University of Kentucky, and we learned all those innovative ways to boo people. There's the countdown, 3, 2, boo, and the deep breath, the boo. And what's some of your favorite techniques, Vaughn?
Mine is the nose up, deep breath. Boo.
That's the snooty boo. What about the Valley Girl? Boo.
Boo.
Need some more buttons.
Gunshots. Gunshots. Now, shout out to the Lone Jedi, man. He might be bringing the temple back one day. Till then.